talk about that. Why is it important for you to write the type of song that you do?
Music it's an influencer for sure. And sometimes things can be said in music that if you just speak the words, for some reason, it just doesn't come out the same way. And I don't know if anybody really knows why that is the case. But, it's... I think that song is just as relevant today as it was back in 2008 when I wrote it. I think a lot of those values, they don't change. Society will change, but the core values are still there. Your values are part of you, so that's naturally just going to come out, I believe. And whatever you have a passion for, I believe that's going to come out.
Americans are capable of achieving extraordinary things when they have the freedom and opportunity to do so. This is American Potential. And here's your host, Jeff Crank.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us for another episode of American Potential. I appreciate you being with us. I'm excited about this episode. When you're having a bad day, you're working out at the gym, or you're just running around town, you may listen to music to lift your mood, to motivate you, or just to have fun. Well, music doesn't just have an impact on those areas of our lives, but it can also bring people together. It transcends culture, and it can be a means of personal expression. Music has also been used to impact social change, political movements, and reflect and shape different eras. It can also be so influential that it proves that it's not just a form of entertainment, but has a dynamic presence that continues to evolve and resonate with society. So, why are we talking about the influence of music? Well, because today's guest is a singer-songwriter who uses his music to express what is going on in society, but does it in a positive way. His whole life, he's grown up around music because his mom was a piano teacher and his dad was a traveling singer. I want to welcome my friend, Daniel Christopher, to the podcast. Daniel, how are you?
Jeff, I'm doing great, and it's really good to hear from you. It's been a minute or two.
It has been.
For sure.
It's been a few years. I can't even remember when we first met, but I'm going to tell the story real quick because it was great. So I was doing like Tea Party rallies and things like that way back around that time. I guess, that would have been, about 2009, 2008, 2009, something like that. And I was at a rally, and, I got to say, I had lots of people come up and say they would do kind of, interesting things. Well, I've got this and I'll offer it to you. And I had guys tell me they'd bring a balloon and launch balloons at an event and things like that.
Sure.
And you came up to me and said, I'm a singer-songwriter and I'd like to write. I had a radio show at the time, the Jeff Crank Show. And you said, I'd like to write a theme song for you. And I said, oh, that'd be awesome. Right. And you walked away and I kind of thought, man, I wonder if this guy's crazy. I wonder what this is going to sound like. And
well, I'm still crazy. Yeah.
And I don't know how long it was. It was, I don't know, a couple months later or whatever. And you sent me the song and I listened to it the first time. I fell in love with it. I was like, man, that is so amazing. And it immediately became the theme song. And I think it was about 14 years that I had that song. And then I came back to you later because that one was so popular. I said, can you do us another one so we can rotate them in? And you wrote me another theme song. So tell me your side of that story real quick.
Well, okay. I remember that vividly. And one thing that I kind of alluded to earlier was that my dad, and you know my dad real well.
I do.
He's the one that talked me into doing that. He pushes me on everything. You need to go up because he just loved you and thought you were the greatest, and
so great.
And you need to go up there and tell him you want to write him a theme song. I thought, well, and I kind of felt a little bit weird about it, to be completely honest, but I did. And then, like you said, it was, a few weeks after I brought that song over to you, and the rest is history. But one thing I remember about you, Jeff, was my dad actually that day gave you a CD.
Yep.
And the CD had some songs that I had written. And I remember before you left there to go home, and you actually popped that CD in your vehicle and you listened to it.
Yep.
And you called my dad and told him that you listened to that CD and mentioned some of the songs on there that you loved. And I was so impressed by that. Hey, he said he would listen to that CD, and he actually did. He didn't throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's great. And you know what? I hate to tell you this. I still have that CD. I don't know if I have a CD player anymore, but no, I do. I actually have a CD player. Your dad's voice is amazing. It's just this amazing, rich voice that he has. And I wish I had that song, one of his songs available. We'd play it right here. It's just so inspiring and so good. And I'm so glad to know that your dad, is still sounds like he's as cantankerous and pushing you as he ever has, huh?
Oh yeah. And Jess and I, which I'll tell you about Jess. She's a phenomenal singer that I'm working with now, but we were singing day before yesterday, Saturday, and of course Dad pulls up in his car and he's listening to us from the vehicle and with a big smile on his face,
Yeah.
And so I called him up there and I was like, Dad, come on and sing a song. No, I can't do it. I'm 82 years old and I don't, my voice isn't what it used to be. But I got him up there and he belts out a couple songs and everybody pays more attention to him than they do me. So I don't know why I do that.
Yeah. Because you love your dad. That's why you do it. You're a good son. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's
try to be.
Yeah.
A good son.
Well, listen, that's all great story, and it's a great family. Both your dad, yourself. I mean, I've just really enjoyed meeting you, and knowing you all these years. And I will tell you, I mean, I have been off the air on that show for a couple of years, but I still,
yes.
I mean, I will tell you, probably every couple of weeks, I get somebody who will come up and say, hey, miss your show, but I really miss that theme song. It was just really a good theme song. So I hear that all the time. And so that's how catchy it was. And it still rings in my head a lot. But anyway, now you grew up in a musical home. Talk about what that was like growing up in a home where your mom's a piano teacher and your dad's a traveling singer.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I grew up, I mean, ever since I can remember, my life was surrounded by music. Like you said, my mom taught piano. We actually moved out to Colorado Springs to go to the Nazarene Bible College, and my mom's the one that my dad wanted to go to Nazarene Bible College, and my mom's the one that ended up graduating from there as a piano teacher. But we traveled all over the place. Dad sang. We sang with pretty big names like Lulu Roman Smith from Hee Haw. Remember that show?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But I spent all my young years traveling with Dad and just enjoying watching people's reaction to his singing.
Yeah.
And
you're lucky you got your dad's voice, right? Genetically, you got your dad's musical talent and his vocal cords, I suppose. Did you know from an early age, did you ever think you'd end up being a musician, or did you always know you would?
I resisted it most of my young life because in my opinion, my dad was the singer. He was the guy that did it. And I just liked watching it. I liked listening. And I can remember, being forced into choir at school and, actually not wanting to be there. It wasn't until a few years later that I actually, I was, late teens anyway.
Yeah.
When I started thinking, you know what, I enjoy this. And, kind of went from there.
Yeah. And you play the guitar. What instruments do you play? I know you play the guitar.
Just the guitar. I play a little bit of piano, not much. I will play the piano to accompany something that I'm doing, here in the studio, but not enough where I can go out and do a performance.
Right.
But mostly just rhythm guitar, a little bit of finger picking, acoustic, mostly. You see a little Les Paul back there.
Yeah.
So
right.
a little bit of electric, but mostly acoustic and, rhythm.
Yeah.
And, it's, I'm surrounded by musicians with what I do that have so much more talent than I do when it comes to picking up one of these instruments and playing. So I concentrate mainly on vocals. The reason I picked up guitar in the first place was to write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, when did you start playing guitar? How old were you?
Oh, I was older when I started playing. Let's see. I was about 20.
Wow. Okay. So you didn't play as a kid?
No. I used to mess around with my mom's guitar. She played guitar also, and so fumbling around with it, as a kid, I can remember doing that.
Right. So what were you thinking back then? If you were resisting being a musician, what were you thinking you were going to grow up and do and be and all that?
Well, I was kind of nerd. I was a nerd when I was a kid. Big into electronics, radio electronics. That was kind of my passion back then.
Yeah.
And I'm still involved with that. As far as communications.
Right.
But when I first met you, I was, as you know, I was singing quite a bit out there in Colorado.
Yeah. Right.
And moved back up here to Michigan, and it kind of fell by the wayside again. And I just didn't have the drive, just didn't have the passion that I once had. And sometimes things come into your life that change things for you. And that only happened, just recently here. I don't know if you have time for me to tell this story or not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, tell the story, sure.
So a few years ago, I was in a contest here called Iosco Idol, and actually won that contest. Kind of a big deal in this area, with the American Idol and all that going on. And so I got into it a little bit more then kind of fell by the wayside again. And then I was just asked a few months ago to judge the Idol contest again. So I was a judge there.
Okay.
And this phenomenal singer, Jess Mockty, who ended up winning the Iosco Idol this year, came up and her voice just blew me away. And I thought, you know what? I need to be a part of that. So ever since then, we've gotten together and put a few things together. We've been, when I say we sung last Saturday, that was her and I singing, and it's kind of in its infancy right now. Trying to get everything going, but it kind of gives me that drive again.
Yeah.
To get back involved and do something that was a passion at one time and then just kind of lost it.
Yeah. So let me go back a little bit. I mean, you were playing guitar when you were 20. When you were 20, you started playing guitar. But when did you get into songwriting?
Oh boy. I would say I didn't really get into songwriting until, man, you're making me use my brain. I would say about 24 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this is interesting? Do you think it's genetic? Like, I mean, obviously you have the ability to do this. If you asked me to write a song, it would be the worst song ever. Like nobody would ever listen to it. So I couldn't do it. But obviously your dad was a songwriter too. Yes.
No. That would be my dad. My dad was a singer and strictly a singer.
Okay.
He never played an instrument. The one that played the instruments was my mom. She played the piano. Yeah. She played the guitar. And she was the writer. She she wrote a lot, not just music, but she wrote poems and she wrote stories. And so I would have to say that I would get that from her.
Yeah, so you got that from her. You got the voice from your dad. Man, you got it all. I mean, you got everything. That was awesome. That's great. All right.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of genetics in there because my son can sing, my daughter can sing, my nephew can sing, my niece can sing. And so there has to be some genetics in there somehow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now we're gonna play two of your songs. The first one we're going to listen to is Apologize, which I love this song. I heard it. I don't know how many years ago you wrote it, but I know it was several years ago, because I've been listening to it for a long time.
Sure.
Talk about Apologize. What's the song about?
Well, I believe I wrote it in 2008. And everybody has different opinions, whether they're political views, what their favorite food is. We all have differences. We all have disagreements. And that was around the time when it got to the point where people couldn't sit, and it's even worse now. People couldn't sit around the dinner table and express their opinions.
Right.
Because somebody would get bent out of shape, and family members would stop talking to each other. But I don't want to be that person that feels like I have to apologize for everything that I do. If I'm driving a 4-wheel drive Suburban, because I've got 6 kids and I want to be able to make it through the 3 feet of snow,
right.
I'm not going to apologize for that just because somebody thinks that I should be driving a Prius.
Right.
So I would say that Apologize, I like to have a positive message. I would say that Apologize is a little more harsh than a lot of my other songs.
Mm-hmm.
I like to keep a positive message.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that we should apologize for the things that we have, the things that we worked hard for, because we worked hard for them.
Right.
And people shouldn't be able to take that away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look,
and I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if somebody has $300 million in the bank, or if they got $5 in the bank, if they have everything they need, or if they don't. We all, for the most part, we work hard for what we get and for what we want, and life's a struggle, so we shouldn't have to apologize for anything we strive for.
That's right. Well, that's great. And we're going to play, after this, we'll play one of those songs that's very positive message. We'll play that later. But let's do this. Let's play Apologize by Daniel Christopher.
Well, he was trying to strap that plywood to his car. He found out fast his Prius wouldn't get him very far. So I figured I could help the man since he was out of luck, and pulled along beside him in my big old Chevy truck. Well, I felt like he was looking down when he looked up at me. He said he didn't need my help, so I just let him be. Maybe he's trying to save the world, or perhaps a little gas. But whatever he's doing, he ain't doing very fast. Well, you can have it your way, that's just fine with me. 'Cause the last time that I checked, we're still free to disagree. And if you don't approve of the way I live my life, you'll never hear me apologize. Well, I don't care if someone makes $1 million more than me. it's not our place to tell him what he gets to keep. And I know it's the end thing to hate those who succeed, but jealousy is just as bad as greed. Well, you can have it your way, that's just fine with me, 'cause the last time that I checked, we're still free to disagree. And if you don't approve of the way I live my life, you'll never hear me apologize. Well, they use words like tolerance, but someone should ask them why they don't seem to tolerate Americans like you and I. And if they don't approve of the way I live my life, they'll never hear me apologize. Well, you can have it your way, that's just fine with me, 'cause the last time that I checked, we're still free to disagree. And if you don't approve of the way I live my life, you'll never hear me apologize.
Awesome, Daniel. I love that song. That's just such a great song. I love the line. I think my favorite is "Jealousy is just as bad as greed." I love that one.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of comments on that for sure.
Yeah,
and it's true. It's so true. You know, people are jealous of other people, and that is just as bad, if not sometimes worse.
Yeah, you know, I love that song, and the reason I love it is there's a lot of values. I can see your values in that song, right?
Sure.
And talk about that. Why is it important for you to write the type of song that you do?
Well, you know, as you were saying before, music it's an influencer for sure. And sometimes things can be said in music that if you just speak the words, for some reason, it just doesn't come out the same way.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody really knows why that is the case. But, you know, it's, I think that song is just as relevant today as it was back in 2008 when I wrote it. I think a lot of those values, they don't change. You know, society will change, but the core values are still there.
Yeah.
And it's so important to express the values that you have in whatever you do, whether it's writing music, whether it's selling office equipment or whatever you're doing.
Right.
You know, your values are part of you. So that's naturally just going to come out.
Yeah.
I believe in, you know, whatever you have a passion for, I believe that's going to come out.
Yeah. Well, listen, and that's such a good point, right? Values stay the same. They shouldn't change.
Yeah.
Your values, if you have the right values, they should never change, right?
That's
Society
right.
can change around you, but the values of treating people with respect and
Sure.
you know, being honorable in the things that you do, and, you know, being law abiding, all of those things, those should never change. If you're a good person, they should never change. And that's kind of what the song is about, really. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So then you hooked up with Jesse. Tell me a little bit about Jesse, and then we'll play Ain't Life Good, and then I'll ask you to explain that song. But tell me a little bit about meeting up with Jesse and the song Ain't Life Good.
Well, you know, like I said, she was part of that contest, and I heard her for the first time just a few months ago, actually, and she's just like I said, she's a phenomenal singer. She's got a lot of drive. She's got a lot of passion. She's pretty new to all this, which to me is amazing because it's just such a natural talent and for her to have the ability to sing a song and take somebody like me and who's kind of let everything fall by the wayside and kind of put that passion back in your life. To me, it's an amazing thing. So I really, and the funny thing is, there were four judges at the Idol, and I was just one of them. And I just know that the other three judges were trying to get her to because they were all musicians and singers.
Yeah.
So they were all trying to get her too.
Yeah. So you were the lucky winner, right?
I was the lucky one.
Yeah.
I was the lucky one.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's pretty phenomenal, and in fact, she's a lot more intelligent than me. I'm terrible with all this social media stuff, and she put together. I'll tell you all about that if you want me to. But she put together the Facebook page, and I'm a terrible promoter of my own music. But she put up the Facebook page and messaged me last night and said, "Oh man, we've already got 100 followers, and then it's only been up there for maybe 18 hours, I think, and there's 200 and some."
Oh, great
followers in there. But so we started getting together and playing and singing, and we just blend good together. We and most importantly, we have a good time, and other people enjoy it too. So, but this song, "Ain't Life Good," is actually one that I wrote a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were practicing one day, and she started singing the song "Ain't Life Good," and we were practicing other things. And I looked at her and I said, "Guess what?" She said, "What?" I said, "I want you to sing lead on that song." "Oh no, I don't want that. That's your song." I said, "No, I think you should sing lead on that, and I'll harmonize to it." So, before this podcast, I kind of forced her into doing lead on this song. So it's just a great performance by Jess.
Excellent.
And I'm proud to I love hearing somebody like her sing a song that I wrote.
Yeah. Okay. So Jess Mockty, right? Singing the song written by Daniel Christopher.
That's right.
All right. Sounds good. This is "Ain't Life Good."
Turn it up from time to time, and you like things spicy hot. Me, I prefer it not. When you know just what you want, it's often something I ain't got. But oh, ain't life good when we're walking in the rainy, muddy shoes, holding hands, your head on my shoulders. I don't mind the cloudy skies, I see sunlight in your eyes. I got you to hold if it gets a little colder. Ain't life good? I'll wait an hour more. You're in the dollar store. Just when I thought you had it all, you walk out with even more, and you think of everything. Me, I try not to think. When you pack our bags to go, I'm shocked to see you left the kitchen sink. Oh, ain't life good when we're walking in the rain, the muddy shoes, holding hands, your head on my shoulders. I don't mind the cloudy skies, I see sunlight in your eyes. I got you to hold if it gets a little colder. Ain't life
All right. Ain't Life Good? That's a great song. And Daniel, I mean, as you were writing that, I mean, that's just a song that kind of makes you happy, right?
Yeah, it is. And that was obviously the intention. And it's a good feeling song. And the funny thing about that song is that it was never one of my favorite songs, but for some reason that song is one that everybody said, "Oh, I love that song, Ain't Life Good?" And I don't know why it didn't, I didn't have the same feeling at first about it, but I'm starting to like it. Okay.
So you like the song now better now that she's the lead?
Yeah.
The lead in it instead of you.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All right. What's your favorite song you've ever written?
Oh my goodness. I hadn't thought about that.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I mean, there's a lot of them that Dream in America. I love Dream in America. We don't have time to play it now. I would encourage people to go and we'll tell them how they can learn more about you and listen to some of your songs. I love Dream in America. That's a great one. But
we're going to be posting all those. Yeah.
No, what's that?
And we'll be posting all those. I do like Dream in America. That would be one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
Just the past 2 months, I have some more recent ones that I can't really say yet, but I've written 5 songs in the past 2 months.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, which is more than I had written for like 10 years.
Yeah. Well, in the past 50 years, I've written exactly 0. So.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear those.
Yeah. Well, that's why you don't hear them. So, but so you kind of go through spurts where you write a bunch of songs. It sounds like get more inspired.
Yeah. And like I say, life gets in the way, work gets in the way. But eventually you get to the point where you say, you know what, this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
I mean, yourself, because I used to send you a new song here and there.
Yep. That's right.
As I would write them. And then we went a few years where I haven't sent you anything. And that was just because, like I said, things get in the way.
Yeah. Right. Well, keep those songs coming to us. What if anyone wants to follow up or they want to come to a show where you and Jess are performing? And by the way, what's your group called?
It's called Between the Lines, and this is just a duo. This is Jess and I.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find that on Facebook. Like I said, it was just put up last night, and but that is located in Tawas, Michigan, Tawas, Michigan. So, I'm not sure how easy or how difficult it's going to be to find, but that's it. Between the Lines, it's a band in Tawas, Michigan. So we'll be posting all the events, and we'll be posting a lot of the new songs and a lot of the older songs too that you've already heard.
Well, look, I just hope that we can get this. They can go to Between the Lines on Facebook. They can find that group Between the Lines on Facebook, and people can find you there, and more to come. And I'll tell you what, as soon as you become, once you have a website and you have all that stuff, I'll make sure that we get the word out so that people can find that as well. So,
okay.
All right. Well, Daniel,
I sure appreciate it.
You bet. My best to your dad, my best to your family, to you, and to Jess. I'm really looking forward to this new venture of you and Jess going forward with Between the Lines. It's awesome.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it too.
All right. Great. Daniel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate it. Good talking to you again.
Yeah, you bet. All right. So Daniel Christopher, I mean, this shows you, like, one, his dad told him, you need to go up and talk to Jeff. And he did. And, 14 years that song ran on my radio show and, became sort of iconic in a community because of that. And it wasn't because of me. It was because of that song that everybody remembered. It outshone me even for sure. But, this is this story is really one of someone using the talents that God gave them and reaching their potential with that, and just kind of continuing to use those talents in the way that they see that they can contribute. And Daniel certainly has done that. He's enriched my life, been a good friend by doing the songs and performing. And I just love the songs and the songwriting, everything that he puts into it. So learn more about Between the Lines and Daniel Christopher and this new duet that he's doing with Jess. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Remember, liberty and freedom are precious. Don't ever take them for granted. Go out there, defend freedom, defend liberty. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to American Potential. You may listen to more stories from Americans working every day to expand freedom and opportunity in their communities by visiting AmericanPotential.com.